Welcome back to the Beyond the Summit Studios. It's time for WPC Ace. DK versus IG. Pikachu at my side. Pikachu, let's go. Into the draft we go. DK versus IG. Game 1. We'll dispense with the introductions. These are your two top dogs.
They need no introduction. Let's be real here. DK and IG.
Certainly not after this delay. The viewers have been introduced to the players for a good 20 minutes.
I feel like I know Lamb's whole history, backstory. I know what he's going through, how he's feeling right now. He seemed pretty excited. Just needed to catch up in a few hours of sleep.
He's also apparently very long because he was lying horizontally on his chair, his feet sticking out into one camera shot, his head into the other. Lamb was taking a nap in the studio. Yeah, pretty funny sight. Draft's underway, gods, and coming into this match for both of these teams, DK and IG, they started off very hot, especially DK, but in Ace, they are 1-5 in their past 6 games. And for IG, I think they've been done a little bit better, like about 50% win rate since 6.79 drop, but they have not been dominant by any stretch of the imagination. So both of these teams come into this match, despite being the top 2 teams, needing to produce some big results here. Yeah,
they're both really struggling. Well, I don't know about struggling. They're still playing okay here and there. We're going to get an Ice Invoker coming out, though. He played an amazing Invoker the other day. Despite DK losing that game, it was impressive nonetheless. He was really just carrying the team on his shoulders, and it was one of those days where Lamb as well as MMY just didn't really shine on support.
And how appropriate that he's donned the Superman cape as his new avatar, Ice. He's decided to show off his superhuman skills here and pat himself a bit on the back. Never known for his modesty.
Mushi, as serious as ever, is just wearing the DK logo.
Yes, it does say Mushi underneath, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Yeah. It looks, yeah. Too small to
Meanwhile, Dai is showing off some Halloween cheer. As for IG, they don't bother to change their icons. They're all business.
Ferrari's got the
he's still got his own face. Yeah. He's like the only player that does. But yeah, I mean, Ice had a great Invoker game, but the rest of the team just did not carry their own weight in that series at all.
Yeah,
they got just destroyed by Tongfu.
Yeah, well, we'll see what IG can pull out here. I feel like both these two teams, they've had just some ups and downs, like you've mentioned, 1-5. I think IG are 2-4 in their last 6 matches.
Okay.
But it's still like they're really struggling. IG, I think they've lost 4 games in a row, in fact. So they've lost 4 in a row. They won the 2 before. As for DK, they're just 6.79 seems to be their kryptonite almost.
Yeah, it is early in the patch, and I would figure that this team can adapt. I mean, we saw Orange Esports when Mushi was at the helm. Everyone remembers their great results at TI3, but they really struggled in the months leading up to the event. I mean, they were changing roles every match. There was points where Kachik Embo was standing in for the team. Mushi wasn't even playing. He was back to coaching. They were switching roles constantly. I mean, this was not a team that was finding their stride, and, well, they eventually figured it out. So I think for this DK team, it's too early to write them off and say, 6.79, they'll never be the same. But for right now, they have struggled.
Yeah, they've definitely got the ability. They've shown they have the team coordination as well. So I think it's the version's been out a week. And if anything, I feel like they're trying out some of the heroes, whereas a lot of the other teams who are doing well in 6.79 are maybe just following what the successful teams are doing. As for a team like DK, they want to use this Invoker. They want to see if it's actually viable. They've got a lot of breathing room in the WPC. They're still first place, and even if they drop down to second, even third place, they still go to the playoffs. They're still looking fine. They want to just be as prepared for Columbus as possible. They want to have as many different heroes, and have a wide hero pool, be versatile, and that's where they need to actually try these things in serious competitive matches.
And the Ace is a great scenario to do it in because it's such a long season. And when you have the kind of start they did, they have a lot of wiggle room to experiment.
Yeah.
So we'll see. As for the draft, it does develop more from here. IG actually ban out the Bounty Hunter. And normally you'd look at this and say, why would they do that? Because they've already picked up Ice's hero, the Invoker. And generally, you know, I mean, they could throw somebody else onto the off lane, but generally when they pick up Invoker for him, they go aggressive tri-lane with Burning. But the reason they banned the Bounty Hunter is the Chen pick, and I think this is a very smart ban. Otherwise, you get the Navi treatment. They run the 4-position, even 5-position Bounty Hunter. Just follow Chen around the jungle and completely shut him down.
Yeah, Chen, you do not want to get disrupted too much there. And with the Chen pickup, DK going to be even more likely to go for that offensive tri-lane, knowing that that safe lane for IG is going to be definitely a weak spot in their lineup. IG may look to dodge it, though. Timbersaw, I feel like 1v1 against Invoker, maybe not his best matchup. He'll really struggle a bit to last hit there against an Exort Invoker. Maybe they just want to send Timbersaw safe lane and try and dodge the tri-lane, go with an offensive tri-lane, put Chen in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. And Timbersaw is such a tanky and versatile hero. He can go mid, he can go off lane, he can even be your safe lane. So if you want to go like semi-aggressive tri lane, I say semi because Chen's not really going there to be aggressive. He's going there to avoid the aggression. But the options are open, and well, with the Invoker Rubik initial 2 picks, they have a decent setup for Sunstrike, but I do feel like it's not enough yet. Lift into Sunstrike, not much margin for error. It's not the longest to disable. It's not a Noggin Snare or a Disruption. So if they really want to rely on the Sunstrikes, then I imagine something like a Sand King is a possibility here. Crystal Maiden, that works too. Also good against Chen Creep, so a nice pick there. But now they have really good setup for Sunstrike.
Yeah, that's the big thing here. If you want to have the Invoker adding to that tri-lane versus tri-lane, or at least helping out with those kills. And CM can always rotate into that jungle there. If you go with an offensive tri-lane, and let's say IG just send the Timbersaw there, you leave Rubik plus Burning there, and you send CM to get some experience in solo farm in the jungle using Frostbite. Definitely a potential, just nice little jungle hero that can kind of fill a similar role to the Chen, and in some ways farm faster than the Chen if done just very greedily.
Yeah, and also more likely to get a Midas, which secures your farm. We've seen quite a few of those. But as for IG, curious to see what they do from here. They have the Timbersaw, which is probably YYF's hero, but it is possible to run it for 430 and even look towards like a profit for YYF if they want to have like a hero that can kind of reply to the +1 of the Invoker. We've seen teams use the profit for that, but they now go for Shadow Demon, so if they went Prophet, they'd really be lacking in team fight control and kind of late game damage output. So maybe less likely with the Shadow Demon.
I do like the idea of putting Timbersaw mid, though, now that you bring up, because Timbersaw, I feel, will struggle against an Invoker, and there's many heroes that I feel could match up a bit better against him, whether it's your Lone Druid, your Nature's Prophet, even something like a Darkseer if you want something more team fight centric.
As for DK, the Invoker does not have to go mid. He can go safe lane, and we've actually seen them do that. So they may just look to send the Timbersaw wherever Invoker is, I guess is the other point to be made here.
Well, I don't think Timbersaw does that well against Invoker, so I don't know if they want to do that.
At the early levels, but not later on.
Yeah.
As for DK, we saw Burning Clinks come out the other day, and I think they actually won that game. Was that the one game that they won? I think it was. That was the one series that they split 1-1.
Okay.
It was a Burning Clinks game, and they'll go for it again.
Clink's really good against Timbersaw as well. I mean, you sort of think that, oh, Timbersaw will do okay. He's got all this plus armor from reactive, but Searing Arrows just add so much bonus damage that I feel Clink's can actually do a really good job. 1v1 against Timbersaw, and with a little bit of support, even better.
Yeah, this most likely is going to put Ice 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 onto the mid lane as Invoker, which means
Mushi into the tri lane.
And I think that's the one area that I'm curious to see how it goes this game, because last time we saw Mushi, frankly, he was not comfortable in the tri lane, was over aggressive, stayed in the lane when his supports left the lane. He's used to being a solo player, and he's very good at it, but it does require a different mentality when you're in the tri lane. So that's the one player I'll be keeping my eyes on, is how does Mushi adjust to being in the tri lane?
Yeah, I have to see exactly what here. I think the two big heroes that fit nicely would either be the Mirana for the Chain Stun or something like a Windrunner. I feel Windrunner's slightly better because I think it was last time they went for that Mirana, and it felt very useless later on because it didn't get the farm it needed. Something like a Windrunner, you can go for the mech 4-star build. You've got the Clinks to do DPS, so you don't need a true tri-lane carry.
And the Invoker. He does a lot of damage, too.
So I feel like a Windrunner is a much nicer setup, and they do lack setup right now. Like, who's your actual initiator here? You've got nothing. A Rubik Telekinesis is the best thing that you've got.
And these heroes that do initiate are all just food if they're charging in. Maybe your EMP Tornado much later on, but when you go Exhort Invoker, that doesn't come into play until like 25, 30 minutes.
That's where IG banned the Clockwork, because they could put Clockwork in a tri-lane. They may even just tri-lane the Clinks and go for a standard off-lane Clockwork. So they're definitely realizing that DK lack initiation. While it may not be the best tri-lane hero, it fits nicer into DK's lineup just because they need that long-range initiator.
Now, the other big hero that Mushi has played a lot of, I don't think we're going to see it this game, is Magnus, and he is a great initiator, but Night Stalker Silence really punishes him, and you eventually need a BKB to deal with that. Plus, just the lanes would be very awkward, I think, is the main thing. So, Dragon Knight, I guess, is available, but there's nowhere to put the Invoker is the problem. Like, you can't really go aggressive with Clinks. It's just such an awkward tri-lane.
Yeah, it seems to me they haven't really got an offlane hero. Clinks or Invoker, neither of them really does that well. Their Clinks, you can't be playing like a 3-position Clinks in the offlane as a solo unless you know he's getting a 1v1 matchup.
There is Darkseer. I guess Darkseer probably your best offlaner.
Yeah, I like Darkseer. A good Slider though.
Oh,
bringing back the Mushi Slider.
Amplify damage with the physical damage of Searing Arrows and the physical damage of an Exhort Invoker. This is going to hurt. This lineup is going to shred anybody in the mid game and the late game. Also a nice hero versus Timbersaw. Night Stalker, fairly high armor, but between reactive armor and just the base armor of
Yeah.
Night Stalker, but this is going to counter it. At the same time, though, well, Slardar, he does struggle somewhat in the early and mid game until he gets his items up. The Blink, the BKB, the Vanguard, whatever it might be, to actually stay relevant in fights.
Yeah, he'll have the support of the CM Rubik. It just synergizes really well with both Clinks and Invoker, because both of those Clinks especially very physical damage focus, and Invoker with the Forged Spirits build, which we likely see out of Ice, that's a lot of physical damage as well, which will, with an amp damage, these heroes will melt. This is going to be a really tough game for Night Stalker especially. He can't run into this lineup until he's got BKB, and even with the BKB, he struggles, because the right-click focus fire is just brutal towards him.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is until he has BKB, every single hero except for Clinks can just crush him when he runs in.
Yeah.
Lift him up. Rubik, if he steals a spell, can use that as well. Frostbite, Cold Snap, and the Slither and Crush. They'll have to spread the map and find pickoffs. And I guess the big question is, how does IG look to focus their draft from here? Because sure, we pretty much know their basic lanes, but this pick determines a whole lot. They could go for the Mirana. I don't think it's going to offer them enough punching power in these fights, but who's even left at this point? There's a Lifestealer, but he doesn't match up that well against Slardar, Clinks, and Invoker.
10 seconds.
The carry options are limited. They go for the Mirana, though.
I feel this is... I don't know that they had many other options. I think it's the problem.
They needed something hard to kill, I guess. Hard to kill and just also good against the offensive tri lane.
But it's a one-position Mirana, and I think we've seen that this one-position Mirana, Team Liquid's been running a lot, but it has very mixed results.
Yeah.
If you have early ganks that are successful, it's great, and if your team's just winning the laning stage anyway, it's great. But if you end up in a situation where you're trading, then you're trading farm on a Clinks and Mirana, it's not close. Clinks is going to crush Mirana late game.
Yeah, I feel DK definitely have a really strong laning stage, and they've got just the slightly stronger mid to late game. So IG are going to have to play some fantastic Dota here and just really have a good laning stage. And that's where that tri-lane's going to be so important. We have to see Chen get some successful ganks off. He's going to have to be the X factor for this IG team.
Guys, if you're just joining us, well, happy Halloween. There's no dire tide, though.
That's why we dressed up.
Yes. We're trying to give you
one of us dressed up.
I put on a hoodie. I'm a hobo.
Well,
I'm a hobo.
You don't get
dire
tide, but you get 1080p. We've upgraded.
Yes.
So
we've upgraded the cameras are not 1080p. Actually, it's very hard to find a camera with 1080p output, but well, we're working on that part. But for now, the in-game view is a lot better.
Okay. So we got 1080p in-game viewing, which is the more important stuff.
Yeah. You don't care. You don't want to see us in 1080p.
Yeah. We look
Our
bad
ugly
enough
mugs are better, like grainy and blurry.
Yeah,
and
720p is bad enough.
My best resolution is like 240p. And I'm just like 6 big pixels for my head.
I can go up to maybe 360, but not much further.
That's like the nerd's way of like rating someone's attractiveness. It's like, he's a 360p. Oh god, she's definitely a 240p. Oh man, yeah.
How low can you go?
That is just awful. What's the lowest resolution that like?
I mean,
people watch stuff on.
I'm about to say, like, you could have as fewer pixels as you want. Like,
how low can you go?
I don't want that chicken any more than 10 pixels. Like, let's be real here. 10 pixels is enough.
With your Pikachu costume on, I think you might be a 720p.
I hope my family aren't watching. I told them I was dressing up, and one of my sisters said she was going to tune in today. So I could be getting in a lot of trouble.
Well,
I probably have like Skype messages waiting saying I was just saying all these.
Were you supposed to tell her about your costume, or what's the issue?
No. I'm just saying.
Oh, they're gonna make fun of you.
No, they're not. They're making fun of me. They'll just get upset because I'm making like sexist remarks here about.
Oh, it's cross genders.
Okay.
Male as well as female can be ranked by the P system. Yeah. Or in some cases, maybe it's better if you're interlaced and you're even motion blurred as well. I don't know. Okay, this is a little too nerdy, I think, for our viewers. So, no dire tide gods. It's a sad day. It's a sad year, really.
Yeah. Valve disband.
I have heard, though. There was a recent post by Wikram.
Yeah.
And one of the most fun heroes in Dota 1 that's not in Dota 2 yet is coming soon-ish, I think. Zin. The Ember Spirit.
It's not techies, though, so...
Yeah, well, techies is what
Reddit
everyone
will be upset.
Techies is like, people will say they want techies, but they're wrong. Techies is fine. Like, I don't mind having the game, but... That techies, 9 times out of 10, is going to be awful, and he's going to be on your team, and he's going to be feeding all game.
Yeah.
And the other, I'd say the other half out of 10 times, it's you, and you're feeding. then that other half is your teammate and he's good.
That first month of techies is going to be a tough month for
it's gonna be a shit show
for matchmaking.
There should be like a no techies mode for matchmaking.
Yeah, they really should be.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the AI for techies. Like, how bad is it going to be when he first comes out? I never play against bots, but I imagine like some new players who do will run up in the techies and I'll just be like planting mines randomly and no idea what he's doing.
I just love suicide. I think suicide's a really cool spell. Like, I wish like that was like on a hero that was actually like competitively viable, or not. Techies I think can be if played. I don't know. It's more like I wish that was like on a different hero set. Like, I feel like the mines concept is just very like silly fun, great for pub games, great for having fun. But suicides I think is a cool spell.
Hey, you cast that Pacific Bad Bird game from Dota 1.
Yeah.
Techies solo mid is legit. If your opponents don't have a gem though, the hero becomes very annoying to deal with.
Yes.
I think I remember there was one game that I was casting. This was in Pinoy Dota 1, by the way. There's like a techie specialist. Do you remember his name?
Nico.
Yeah. And the enemy team had a gem, but they lost their gem, and then they had nothing to do with the techies.
This guy was like the most baller techies you'll ever see. Like, he was force-staffing. Like, they'd go to D-Ward, he'd force-staff him and immediately blow him up. He just had like the best techies control imaginable. And this is back in Dota 1 where like controlling all these different units and stuff was a lot harder because like the hotkeys was a lot trickier. It was just generally more difficult. So this guy was pretty cool.
Yeah, I miss him. Wow.
I think
Does he still play? Do you know?
The
Legend of Nico.
I don't know. I imagine he still does.
Okay. But do you think he's still playing only techies?
He was for a long, long time.
I wonder if that gets boring at some point. I mean, there's some heroes I can grind, like especially heroes that are pretty versatile, like Invoker or Rubik. Like, it's kind of a different game every time, but
yeah,
you play techies. It's you know what would make him suicide a lot better is if you got experience for suicide kills.
Yeah, you do.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
100%. You get experience, you get gold, you get you level up.
Maybe it's just because I suicided and my teammates got the kills.
So
I'm remembering wrong. It's been
back
a while.
to DK versus IG. The Chinese experts have put Timbersaw as a safe lane solo, and the Shadow Demon Mirana against the Clinks. I'm not sure if that's what we're gonna have though.
Well, then that puts Timbersaw against the tri-lane. They could definitely kill him. Like Slardar, CM, Rubik can kill anything pretty much.
Yeah.
And they can also go hunting the Chen if they lane it that way.
Yeah.
So this Chen may look to go aggressive tri-lane instead and try and dodge it.
I feel like DK just have 3 really strong lanes. Like, regardless of what the lane step is, they're going to be winning at least 2 of these 3 lanes, which is the scary thing, because they're winning the tri-lane regardless. Even if it's Shadow Demon Mirana Chen, they win that lane. And the 1v1 matchups, Invoker and Clinks beats both Night Stalker and the Timbersaw. Invoker pretty much beats both of them, so the only way IG can win a lane is if they just put a duel or tri-lane versus solo hero.
Or if they just move well.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we may not see... We're not going to see like a pure jungle Chen. This should be a dual roam, like lgd.int style Chen.
Yeah. I guess that's what IG will look to do. They'll just abandon Timbersaw bottom and hope that they can win top lane, maybe with a dual lane. Maybe even if they go safe lane, Chen and Shadow Demon should look to roam a lot, especially focus on ganking the mid Invoker. If an Invoker is in fact going to be mid, and right now, with the Ring of Protection, maybe that's not the case.
All right, let's introduce our teams, guys. It's game 1 of a 2-game series. The 2 top dogs, top bananas, if you will, are duking it out here. Winner of this series, if anyone wins 2-0, will really buttress themselves as a contender to finish first place in WPC Ace Season number 1. We'll start with IG. Banana playing your Chen will be spotted out by Burning, just using Skeleton Walk to deploy some wards. That puts YYF on your Timbersaw, How onto your 1-position Mirana, 430 on the Snowball mid, the Night Stalker, and then Faith starting off on the top side of the map as the Shadow Demon, but unlikely to stay here for long.
Well, over on the Dire side, it is Team DK. MMY going to be playing the support Rubik. Lamb going to be on the support Crystal Maiden. Burning on the Clinks. We'll see Ice on the Invoker, and Mushi solo mid Slardar, in fact. So they're putting him mid against the Night Stalker, and it looks like a tri-lane Invoker even coming out from Ice. Or is it some dual lanes? Because right now, Rubik positioned near bottom, CM's heading up top. This could just be a full offlane Invoker even.
Yeah, if they're expecting the 1v1 especially, which IG may just leave the Timbersaw here bottom alone. Seems like they're guessing right in that regard. But I want to go back to Mushi being mid as Slardar. We were just talking about Pinoy Dota. This used to be like a go-to Pinoy move. Just put your Slardar mid, bottle Crow, get a fast level 6, and Southern Crush is not the best pushing spell, but it's normally good enough. So could work out well for Mushi, but against the dual roam, Slardart, although he's tanky, is still killable. If you get off that Disruption, Void, and like a Centaur Stomp, you can bring him down. And it looks like they want to smoke very early. They're both hanging out.
Mushi has a little inner Pinoy in him. He's spent a lot of time there and just loves the country and is friends with a lot of the players.
His girlfriend's from the Philippines as well.
Yeah. So
has actually been teaching him English.
Yeah. So we'll see Mushi how he does. And it was the Pinoys, like you say, they started. It was the first time like the Chinese lost in Dota 1 on LAN was when LGD China lost to Mineski with a solo mid Slardar.
IG, they're gonna waste no time. Full LGD in style. They smoke up at 54 seconds in and counting, and they head directly towards this bottom lane. Oh, man. Either of these, such an easy kill if they find it. But no, Faith, he's wrapping around. He's going to come up through the river. They're a little bit spread out here for the meantime. Still just the 1v1 mid, but we keep our eyes on Banana as well as Faith. And they're about to find... Oh, Die. Nicely done. He just hangs out in this area.
And he knows the Chen's right by him then. Well, he expects Chen maybe to be in the river, but...
Yeah.
That was
just really smart play. Like, he uses the fact that it's daytime, and you can reveal smokes from a safe distance and just keeps on moving back and forth. Meanwhile, top lane, Bernie needs an arrow to the face. Not going to be enough for a kill, but he's struggling here, too.
Yeah, nicely played by Hal. Forces a salve out. Burning is going to pick up that fast ring of Basilisk. And for the time being, Crystal Maiden looks like Lamb is going to be heading back towards the Dire jungle. Maybe helping out mid, even.
As for this mid lane, Mushi is doing really well. He's sitting at 9-4. He's copped some harass, but already has his bottle out, and already, well, he's got a Tango remaining. He's getting close to boots, in fact. And if Night Stalker is losing mid to a Slardar, then he's in a lot of trouble.
Huawei is getting harassed quite heavily here with a cold snap, but
they just lack damage right now in this dual lane.
The 2 points in reactive armor early on. He's got a ton of tangos as well as a salve and a stout shield. You can't really kill him with two P shooters out of range heroes. These heroes do not hit very hard, especially a Quaz Invoker.
IG making a move towards the middle lane, but they have been spotted out by the Dire Vision, just because it is daytime, and they'll head into the Dire jungle. They may even find this Crystal Maiden. Lamb's got to be careful now. He'll spot them out. The pains come forth, so IG, despite making this aggressive move, so far, very unsuccessful with their early ganks, and we'll have to see if that continues to be the case, but they're not getting much done right now.
DK are just spotting out every rotation. Smoke ganks, whatever it may be. CM and the Rubik are just constantly positioned in the exact right place to scout out these ganks, and IG are wasting so much time. This Shadow Demon and Chen are only halfway to level 2 even.
Yeah, they don't even have Soul Catcher yet, which is honestly quite important for getting kills, not to mention Test of Faith. They'll come in and they'll try to stop Lamb from jungling, and although they succeed in doing so, there's no big creeps to steal here, and it's just the Crystal Maiden being shut down. Sure, you'd love to see that Midas, but so far so good for DK, and I think the big thing is just that their solos or their farmers are all doing well.
Yeah.
Even the Clinks, 10-2, is doing quite decently against Tau.
Yeah, how I got to say, matching up pretty well against the Clinks. 13 CS to the 10 CS. Mirana, not generally a great 1v1 hero, doesn't have the best damage, and Clinks with Searing Arrows should be fine. I guess his last hit's fine, but he struggles to deny because he can't use the Searing Arrows there.
Meanwhile, they continue to go for the double jungle. This time, though, they're not trying to force the ganks. And I like this from IG. I mean, despite the fact that it seemed like their game plan was all about the early roaming, it doesn't work. You could tell DK are completely ready for it. If you keep that up, then you just... well, you forfeit by default. So they at least get level 2. They increase their killing power by quite a margin, and they'll look to go in mid here on Mushi. There's a Void available, but he is so tanky. I don't know if they could even kill him with the full combo. He gets off a Crush on 430, and he just heads straight south.
Yep.
There is no catching him. More wasted time.
Yeah, maybe they should have waited for nighttime instead, because the dice...
It just came, too.
Yeah, it was just about to come up. They rushed things a tiny bit there if they want to wait. And Mushi, well, he wanted to head bottom anyways, because a regeneration rune spawns, and he immediately picks it up. So IG... still wasting a bit of time. I like the fact they're in the Dire jungle because it's much easier access to gank both mid lane as well as top lane. From the Radiant jungle, the only way to gank mid is really to smoke around, and we'll have to see if maybe they just give up on mid and look for a kill on Burning on the Clink, because they've already got Dust for that if they want to try kill Burning.
Still a very difficult kill, I would say, unless you're able to hit the arrow. Yeah. But Burning's been playing quite defensively. He's already got 2 points in Skeletal Walk. He's not spending his gold, though, and this may indicate a Midas rush from him. We've seen him do it before, or we've seen other players do it before, I should say, in the Clinks, and would not be surprised at all to see Burning do it here.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the popular build on the Clinks at the moment. Shadow Demon is heading up towards the top lane now, has the Dust ready, and with a disruption into an arrow.
There's a ward here, though.
This should be an easy...
not gonna work.
Oh yeah, they've got no smoke or anything to go past this, and
already it's spotted out. Burning retreats, and just more wasted time, gods. This is a lot of level 3 Chen. Your Crystal Maiden's a bit behind, but that could change soon.
CM finds the Chen, immediately frostbites the crypt. Chen needs to go for the... oh, he sends it home back.
Yeah, nicely done. It dies at the fountain. Oh, he gets the gold. gets the experience as well. Well, I guess doesn't get the
Maybe
experience
not the
since it dies a
experience,
fountain,
but-
yeah.
Oh, Night Stalker went into the enemy jungle using a Moonlight Shadow.
Cute little combo, but who's he going to find here? It's only Burning, and he's invis. Level 5, very fast. City at 427 move speed. That early Moonlight Shadow, we've seen it can be effective, but DK just, it seems like I feel like they've played against this exact IG strategy already, because every single maneuver is being just flawlessly and effortlessly counter.
Yeah, it may have just been a Moonlight Shadow to try and initiate on the Clinks at top lane as well. They're just unable to get anything. Burning's rotated all the way towards mid. It looks like he has been spotted out. There's Radiant Pinks coming in, so I believe he has been spotted. There's Sentry Ward's detection, amplified damage on the Night Stalker. And Ferrari, it is the nighttime, but it's that first nighttime where you're still fairly low level.
Here. Crush is going to connect. There's some backup coming too. Burning, you're roaming, ganking Clinks, and he'll get the kill. No, first blood goes to die. Now Faith joining the fight, but just look at the searing arrow damage. One more Crush. It's 2 down. IG getting a taste of the face rush. The arrow off the mark from How. He's giving chase here, but he's really got to be careful. Night Stalker right back into the fight. Bought back for this one. Here comes your Timbersaw. Mushi gets off the Crush. I think he's out of options. He tries to sprint away. Won't be successful. Now Die hoofing it out of there as well, but can your Night Stalker run him down? Die's trying to go for the big plays. Can he cliff him? Cliffs him, but breaks the trees in doing so. Now gets voided. Even with the arrow dodge, he will go down too. They lost a few, but honestly, they get first blood, and they force a buyback on Night Stalker. Yeah. Not a bad trade.
Really, yeah, good start for DK here. The Night Stalker buyback still worth it to get those 2 kills, but IG still come off on the worst end of that fight. How not hitting the arrow was quite important. He rotated off the top lane. That was pretty much every hero in the game rotating, except for maybe the Invoker.
And we just saw a taste of things to come. That click searing arrow with amplified damage, it's like 4 shots, and even Night Stalker's almost dead.
When you can rotate and roam as a level 6 Clinks, that is just so scary. He doesn't need to even farm for that Orchid. He can actually take part in these fights, should they actually come up.
Yeah, the burst damage is outrageous. Meanwhile, they've freed up space for Ice Ice Ice. As a result, YYF being forced to join the fights. Ice 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 just calmly in the bottom lane. And speaking of Ice Ice Ice, he started off with a couple points across, and he's not going Exhort. He'll adjust, and he'll go Wex this game. And he's just going to be kind of that hero that slows the game down. Although he does get stomped here. Could be in trouble. In comes your Chakram. Tries to Tornado and Ghost Walk out, but a Sentry is waiting. And Banana says, give me your gold.
Yep. Banana was so focused on... He was attacking a creep with his hero just because he was so focused on landing the Centaur stun. It was a bit of an interesting micro, but it did work in the end. They got the Centaur stun, got the kill.
Arrow to fly from How, who is going for... Okay, thought it might be a Midas, but no, it is a Wraithband recipe. So they're not really going for any greedy items, and still, I think for DK, even if they were slightly behind, this is a comfortable pace for them, because the Chen has been quite slow to get online. We'll see an engagement for this bottom rune. Faith picking up a haste. Oh, it'll keep him safe for now.
He wanted to leave it for Ferrari, but he had to get that to save his life. Denies it from Mushi as well as the...
Mushi's going in, though. He wants to look to dive this, and, well, Ice Ice Ice, he goes Ghost Walk again. He's got to know there's a Sentry here. Even creeps are hitting him. Back in the river. 430. Oh, he gets dusted up. Now the Amplify coming through. He's got a Silence. He's got a Void. Arrow's going to connect Mushi. Going to pay for his aggression. Arrow to the face. Down he goes.
That's a nice kill here. Slowing down Mushi. Slido's a hero who you do want items on. Not really expensive items, but as a solo mid with just boots and bracer, you really need treads. Start building your Vanguard or your BKB. You need items on Slider to actually be tanky. If you're squishy as a Slider, you can't do your role, which is just to be the initiator in the front lines.
And especially with this lineup, there is nobody else to go in first. Aside from just hoping to catch somebody out with a smoke and like frostbite them into a lift or something. But it's unreliable and very dangerous to put your supports into harm's way like that. Still, despite the death, he's farming decently. 30 CS. Does have the bracer up, but yeah, needs to work towards a BKB this game. There's just so many ways to lock a Slardar down. Issue if you go BKB, though, is Shadow Demon's amazing at Slardar. You can purge off the sprint as well as just slow him down.
Yeah.
But it does go through BKB, so I feel like Shadow Demon is kind of Slardar's natural counter.
Yeah, I feel like IG have just gotten a bit of a steady footing now in this game. And this next nighttime for them is going to be the crucial point, because that's where they've got the much stronger the lineup. The nighttime is going to give them an advantage, and Mushi will be underfarmed on Slardar. Clinks can't really take part in fights too easily, and even Invoker doing this next nighttime is still only going to be level 7, maybe level 8, and Invoker really needs levels to do a ton of damage and just be problematic with his Quaswex combo.
Yeah, the Quaswex build, I think he's just looking at this game and saying, I don't need to be the damage dealer. We have Clinks and Amplify damage for that.
Yeah.
What we need is just a hero to control and slow down the aggression. And Quaswex is definitely better for that than Exhort, but at the same time, it means he's purely a defensive hero in this game.
He reminds me of like a Darkseid where he doesn't really come into teamfight prowess until he hits like level 9, level 10. He really needs those levels, and that's where
Darkseid
is not. Yeah, Midas is great, and that's where Darkseid is somewhat fallen off as a pick because you don't really get that much levels on an offlane hero. Invoker, for the time being, though, has been given that empty lane and hasn't really been pressured all too much.
Yeah, he's not ahead in levels, but still, I mean, he's level 7. He's not doing too poorly here. And we'll see a smoke from IG. They head towards the top lane. They've got Moonlight Shadow. Arrows online. This is a big kill. Burning. He's very close to the Midas here. Only about 100 gold away. And having not bought his treads, almost certain that he is going for that Midas. But
he sniffs this one out.
His spidey senses are tingling.
That map awareness. He's not going... Like, there's like a range creep there he could have last hit, but he's like, nope, this melee creep's my last one. Then I'm going to hug my tower.
Just the perfect timing to back off. And with Night Stalker now off the map as well, it really makes this suspicious. He's worried about a gank too. Both players showing good map sense, but Burning's just going to head into the jungle, look to Dark Pact or Death Pact to creep, and he will find it. Meanwhile, the bottom lane dive commences. Observer Ward deployed. YYF going to poke his head out, throws out the chakram. Now he's given up the scent. Out comes your Tornado EMP. Cold Snap combo. He's melting to the nuke damage. Down he'll go, but a double TP reaction comes through, and they immediately lift up 430, toss him back. Arrow to fly, hits a creep, and that, well, that should be it. They'll lose Lamb here, but still a great trade. And in fact, Timbersaw even bought back for this. They need a lot more to justify that buyback.
Not going to be able to chase anything down, and, well, that leaves Burning alone at the top lane. He's not even going for the creeps. He backdoors this tier 1 tower, knowing that all their TPs are on cooldown. That is just some great awareness and just knowledge of what IG are up to. When there's 3-4 heroes TPing bottom, you don't just slowly push the wave killing creeps. You go straight for the tower.
Meanwhile, what an arrow from Hal snipes him. Banana was like 0.2 seconds from dying to that last slither and slap, and in the end, ends up living. Mushi, yet again, just paying for his aggression. Like 99 times out of 100, you get that kill, but Hal just in the right place at the right time every time, it seems. Speaking of Hal, I think he is going Midas.
Yeah, okay.
This is a catch-up Midas for him. He's not farming that much.
He's farming heroes all right, I guess. He's 4-0 right now, but Burning at top lane. He's pressuring a tier 2. An arrow maybe to set things up. We'll have to see how Burning does. Arrow's going to land. There's TPs immediately. They need a dust right away.
No dust available. Burning's just going to scoot on out of there. It was Chen on the TP first. Night Stalker was the second TP.
Yeah. If Night Stalker TP'd first, I think they get that kill.
I'm not sure, though, because it's daytime, and you don't really have any lockdown for him. Like, he was going to be able to skeletal walk, I think, before the TP even landed. And
I think the main
then he runs away really fast, even with the slow.
The Starfall damage was what they were really lacking there. And with just 400 HP, if you hit the double Starstorm, it should be a kill.
Here comes a smoke from DK, looking for the dive at the tier 1 bottom. YYF, crouched in the trees, crouching Timbersaw. Hidden Teleport Scroll is the name of the game here. They'll be looking for backup, but instead, the real clash, the site will be towards the left side, near the tier 2. DK in a tight little cluster here.
They
spot
them
the
out
jump
with the ward.
Well, they've spotted them, but it is nighttime. They do not want to be diving. They want IG to come to them, and they're going to be revealed right now. Then they get cold feet and try to run. The Tornado EMP comes through. 430, thinks about going back, says no, I want to go in. Arrow to fly, it's going to nail die, catches out your Rubik, and now it's a headlong retreat from DK. They need to run, and they need to run in a hurry.
Mushi gets silenced mid-stun animation. He does wear off now. He's now on the run.
Stick charges. Can he juke his way out of here? Needs a crush. Disruption's going to be there. Centaur stop. Yeah,
he's sacrificing himself for the greater good.
But look at Burning. Just farming, pushing mid, takes the tier 1.
All right.
All of a sudden, 1,000 gold. I don't know if they're getting enough kills.
Burning's every time is on these towers as soon as a fight breaks out and TPs are used. IG are distracted, Burning making space. Well, not even making space. He's using the space he's gotten to pressure towers and get a lot of farm.
I think he's found his anti-mage for 6.79 guns. It's the Clinks. It seems like one of the stronger just split pushing farming carries in this patch.
No, it does seem to really suit him here. He's already up to 1,200 gold with Treads and Midas, and this is after having a very slow start.
There's going to be a Midas coming out for your Mirana as well, but it's going to be playing catch-up against a lineup that just has much more natural physical damage output. The synergy between Slaughter and Clinks is just disgusting in the mid game, the late game, and don't forget about Alacrity, which is now available for Ice. He's got that 1-point exhort, and we'll see a big smoke from IG. They know they need to keep burning down, but his legendary map sense,
they're going to be put to test.
Oh no, I don't know if it's tingling enough, gods. Burning. No
Night
burning.
Stalker leading with a dust.
This ain't good. 430 is about to just pounce on him and devour
They're
him.
really waiting. They're worried about whoever's backing him up, but Burning now is going to go down, immediately dusted. There's no way out of this one. TP's not even going to come, not even worth it.
Oh, the Midas! 3 seconds for cooling down. All that value. So much value was lost this day. They'll try to push top here, but I still think for DK it's fine. They're going to trade.
We'll have to see if Hal gets even caught out here. He can leap into the trees, which he may just want to be doing here. Tornado to spot him out. Woodspell is doomed.
Hard to run from a Slardar, though. If he amps you...
Here comes Timbersaw.
They're going to look to defend and take.
DK have so much vision, though. They've got their ward behind the tower, but DK realize they have to back off without Clinks here. They also lacking... Slider's there as well, but Slider's very squishy at this point. Level 8 and just treads and Abrasive. This is where Mushi's slow start is really costly for DK.
Yeah, he had some decent engagements, but he also just wasn't getting any of the kills. Like, he's 1, 4, and 2. I feel a couple of those kills, he was the primary reason they got them, but did not get the last hits, and as a result, is really struggling for gold. Crystal Maiden getting a bit more farm, and we'll go for a Midas, but as cute as the CM Midas is, you would much rather have this gold on your Slardar right now.
Yes, oh, absolutely. We'll see Burning ganked out again at middle lane. He's caught over his head. He's getting to be dusted up here. He's on the run, but Centaur stun is there waiting. Great micro from Banana. What? This guy is...
So is he just trying to, like, death pact an enemy big creep, or what was he doing there?
He was trying to just apply pressure. I think he thought there was more heroes bottom, maybe.
Okay. Because, I mean, it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Pushing past the river by yourself when they have the tier 2 up.
Night Stalker alone will hunt you down. Now Ice at mid needs to be careful. He's got his 4 stuff up, and he's got that level 9, so 4 points in Wex, 3 in Quas. He can actually come to fights and take part now.
Yeah, and also with the 4 staff, it really helps counter the Night Stalker aggression, blunt him when he looks to dive. They're trying to defend this tower, but IG gaining a bit of momentum here. Continuing to apply pressure. The wraparound's coming. Mushi's trying to go for a backstab, but it's nighttime. You cannot get a jump on Night Stalker at night unless you have smoke or wards, and now your arrow comes through. Lamb just gets melted and spit out. Arrow was stolen, though. Die throws it the other way. EMP. Can they kill off this Mirana? Not against Hand of God. Tornado comes through. Where's that Mushi crush? He'll find Banana. Down for the count is your Chen, but he's already done his work. Now it's up to Burning. Can he kill off 430? No, unable to do so.
It hit daytime, but they didn't have detection for the Moonlight Shadow, it looks like. They could have chased for more, but...
Could have probably pursued 430 out, because at daytime, this Night Stalker has 345 move speed.
The Ice Wall was really well placed, catching out 2 to 3 of those heroes, but without the detection, they couldn't do it. Chen, luckily for DK, there didn't have mana to use his mech. He used his Hand of God, and that was it. He couldn't actually pop the mech for the team, because that would have helped IG just be a lot more sustainable and maybe continue fighting, but as it is, I still think it's a good trade for IG. They don't get the tower, but they're just... trading fairly efficiently, getting pickoffs, and then just backing off without losing anyone too crucial.
And they know DK's tricks, and they know it well. This lineup, very good at taking the early Roche, and already they've been camping Chen creeps in the Roche pit. They do give up some, well, Chen does lose a creep, I guess, but they know what's up. They'll keep on scouting it. If DK want to go for this, that's at their own peril. They don't have the Clinks Orchid yet. Mushi doesn't have his big fighting items. DK cannot just try and take Roche unless IG have several dead or unless they know they're not near the pit.
Yeah, IG, this is the most solid duo they play. They've lost 4 games in a row, but I feel like they're a lot more comfortable against DK because the losses they've had is against teams like Tongfu, Vici Gaming, who go for these like unorthodox pushing strategies and just draft kind of unconventionally. DK, while they'll pick some unconventional heroes, their actual like strategy and execution is much more standard and just it plays more to IG's pace.
Yeah, and certainly on this patch, it seems like they're running just kind of one strategy lately, or at least a fairly limited set of picks. And that makes it a bit easier to deal with them. But in spite of the fact that they seem more comfortable, I think they still have to be a bit worried. Burning is farming very well, and if he manages to get a BKB as well as Orchid at some point this game, and IG aren't like 2 or 3 items ahead, they just don't really have lockdown for a Clinks. The Night Stalker Silence is no longer useful. Sure, you can purge him, but that's where they need a lot of physical damage to bring him down. He's not far off the Orchid. In fact, has the second Oblivion staff up already, and is about halfway to his recipe. So he'll have an Orchid soon. And then for IG, I think their backs are not up against the wall quite, but they start to feel the heat quite a bit more.
It seems IG just want to sit back and farm a bit. There is good ways of dealing with the DK line. Like, all their supports have to do is both of them farm a Ghost Scepter. Then, even when they get silenced, they're not going to actually die during that silence. They've got the Chen heals to follow things up as well. So, a lot of the DK damage is going to be physical-based, and that's something which can be easily countered with Ghost Scepters and Force Staffs.
Yeah. Both teams, well, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. They have both been farming, though. DK was farming their Ancients when IG was farming their jungle, but the mid tower will fall. Tower's going to go, but here comes your EMP tornado onto Banana. Cold snapped up as well, dropping quite quickly. He should be okay. Meanwhile, Burning. Oh no! Arrow just a split second late. Able to get away, and Banana also escaping on that Chen mid. They had 4 heroes just beating down this Chen, but couldn't even bring him below.
That looked really.
The
TP. What happened? Shadow Demon TP'd to the top tier 2 tower, knowing that Burning was going to try commit to it. Got the disrupt shot. Mirana immediately TP'd afterwards because Burning's only way out was to just straight up TP. He got purged and dusted, and the Mirana just couldn't get there in time to line up the arrow.
Yeah, it looked like she went for a right click and then arrowed. I think she maybe could have gotten it off there.
Yeah.
I definitely saw her auto attack.
Where the TP was like blocked by creeps for the arrow, but he definitely got sidestepped enough. And now DK with that rotation top means bottom lane's completely empty and deserted. So Burning gets another tower. That's his Orchid.
That's his Orchid up. 21 minutes in, it's not that fast. We've seen like a 50-minute Orchid treads Aquila Midas, but that was a free farm clinks. Burning, he's been up against it. He's been forced to kind of resort to guerrilla tactics, and well, they're going for several Midases here. Lamb will pick one up as well. And now it starts to set a clock on IG. Already the team that's going to lack kind of just burst damage and general late game potential. Sure, they can get Ghost Scepters and avoid dying to DK, but they need ways to kill these DK heroes late game. And with multiple Midases coming out, now a blink on the Slardar. IG, to me, like the next 5 to 10 minutes most likely determine this game. They need to find some more kills, apply some pressure, and hopefully take a tier 2 and work towards Roche.
Well, they want to keep on fighting. They're smoked up, heading towards the mid lane. Ice with a 4-staff and ultimate orb. He's hard to bring down. He's got Tornado, EMP. He can always invoke to Ghost Walk as well to try and get out of here.
Banana actually in the front of this gank. It seems they're unsure where DK are positioned. Perhaps thinking that DK is wrapping around from their secret shop and going for a backstab on the mid lane.
I like this position from him because Mirana's going to be pushing out bottom, so DK should be swinging towards his bottom tower.
This is bad for DK. Moonlight Shadow is popped. DK did not have an Observer Ward here. The Observer Ward they had was a little bit too far to the right, and it's nighttime. They're going to get a jump. They may get this Courier kill. What do they go for? They purge it. Well, they'll get the Courier, but it could have been a lot worse for DK. Now they might even turn this around. 430 caught out. Centaur stopped. Well, it's not going to be enough to keep him safe. He still goes down. They're going to lose Banana as well. That was not worth the Courier kill. Even though it's more gold, it is Roshan most likely down now.
I don't think they ever actually got vision of DK properly there. Now, meanwhile, bottom lane, there's a TP in, and this is problematic. YYF gets amped up. He's got lots of ways to escape, but the tower denied by Ice, and YYF should be okay.
I don't know about that. There's a Blink Crush coming.
Though.
There's a Blink Crush. He could go in and crushes it mid. Timber Chain. Cold Snap's available, as well as the MP. This is the death of YYF.
Mushi just going to TP his way home just to be safe. He doesn't know who's still around. And Mirana, Hao is still at this bottom lane.
He can go kill Hao once his Orchid cools down.
Yeah. Hao is getting close to that Mantis, so will have that Dispel to get rid of the Orchid. But that's still 50 gold away and needs a Courier trip out.
Yeah, this will be the perfect time to kill him. But looks like he'll dodge a bullet here. He'll hide in the trees and, yeah, literally 50 gold from the Mantis. So should be able to pick it up even if he ends up going down. And even though they got the Courier kill, even if it was an even fight before that, now it's not. Because now DK take Roche. They do it in a matter of seconds, and Burning over halfway to his BKB almost. 2,400 gold after that Roche kill. And once he gets it, like, sure they can get Ghost Scepters if they can farm them, but they just have no way to kill a Clinks for the BKB.
Oh, Tornado. Not going to catch. That was... Oh,
the plays! Ice. He got a little bit of vision there from the Tornado, and now it's Hal on the run. He has purchased his Manta Style, but he's about to pay the piper. Look at the right clicks from Burning. Double damage rune. It feels like a quadruple damage rune with the amplified damage coming into play.
The Alacrity was on him as well. There's just so much to boost the DPS from this Clinks, and Burning is loving it right now.
Yeah, apparently Deeps is spelled with a DK, because he is just dishing it out right now. As for IG, I guess at this point, gods, they kind of just have to choose their fights more wisely.
Yeah.
Burning's going to BKB soon, but you get your Night Stalker BKB, you'll have your Mantle and Mirana. Oh no, hold that thought. Big fight breaking out. This is not a kind of fight they were hoping for. DK, it's just one to the next to the next. Burning dropping low. He never took the Aegis. He's going to go down. The Aegis actually went to somebody else on his team. That being Mushi. So they do lose Burning here, but Die stolen level 4 Timber Chain. Suddenly Rubik is Spider-Man.
Yeah. He's loving it too.
Well,
they're all loving it.
Confirmed for not quite Spider-Man, but
not quite. BKB up on Ferrari. This is the
really not Spider-Man.
This is a much needed item for IG, getting the BKB, because that was something they needed to have on him in the front lines. Well, I say that he's got enough money for it, but he's not. Okay, there we go. He buys it.
Yeah, he desperately needed it. He does have it now, but this is where what you were discussing in the draft earlier, and I think it's a very important point, is even if he has BKB, they have ways to deal with that. Just amp him and right-click him. And if he doesn't have his whole team there and they're not just overwhelming you, you just kill him even if you can't stun him or force him to run.
Yeah, I think you're more likely to force him to run here because you can't lock him in place. But if you get a lucky bash from a Slaughter, and it just means he can't actually be that initiator as much as he'd like to be. We'll have to see like a great joint effort from IG. They need an arrow to hit. They need Timbersaw in the front line as well. Timbersaw close to his Bloodstone, it looks like, just 600 away. But this is not a particularly fast Bloodstone coming out.
And I'm not sure how much longer Timbersaw is going to be particularly relevant in this game. DK have a 4 ranged lineup. Not ideal for Timbersaw to do lots of damage. And to make matters worse, Clinks is about to complete a BKB. There's a 4-staff on Invoker to get them away from the Timbersaw. And we'll probably see more 4-staffs coming out soon. Lamb's working towards one. Your Rubik actually already has one complete. So they just have such a good lineup to kite out Timbersaw. I feel like even if he had a Bloodstone and another item, he could still well be useless in this game.
Mirana How leaps out of a sticky situation at bottom lane. That was definitely not somewhere he wanted to be. He gets the evasion from the Observer, but immediately de-warded by DK. And I feel IG just are going to struggle to take fights.
26 minutes. He didn't even go for a Midas this game. 26 minutes.
He farms and just plays so well. He's got the highest CS in the game as an off-lane Invoker.
Does he really? 135. Well, what a player. Bernie's got the Midas advantage, but Ice off-lane Invoker. He did have help, and it was effectively a 2v1 in his favor, but still. Never died this game, really. Well, he died the one time, but it feels like he's just never died. And getting this scythe is huge. Now it means that Mushi doesn't even have to initiate. You can just EMP Tornado and then immediately scythe somebody after the tornado drops. Other heroes can start the fights now. And they're going to find
wrong
Faith.
Neighborhood Faith.
Faith is in all kinds of trouble. There's a send back. Tornado might allow him to get back in time. Just kidding. Scratch that thought. Now the bash comes through. Banana's dead. An IG and a headlong retreat.
The Hex on How. How do you have a Hex already, he says, and Ice gets the kill.
And they're going to clean up the Chen creep. So I would call that like 3.5 hero kills with the Chen creeps as well.
Yeah.
This is trouble. I think the window for IG is about to slam shut here, gods. Their team just doesn't go late without a huge item advantage, and they're at a big item disadvantage right now.
Yeah, suddenly 7-8k gold lead for DK. They're going to look to take a couple towers to follow this up. Slaughter's looking around for pickoffs.
So is Burning.
Yeah.
Burning's like, hey, Mushi wants to dive? Great. I want to dive too.
Yeah, they're
You're not manlier than me.
Just blinking onto that high ground of the tier 3 towers. Forget the tier 2. They'll go back now. Alacrity on Clinks, giving him all the attack speed in the world. Doesn't even need strafe. And then suddenly the Searing Arrow is just going to work. Tier 2 tower easily brought down.
Yeah, he's like I feel like he's like has a troll on his team. He's just attacking so fast with Alacrity. And, what level is the Wex actually? Yeah, it's max Wex. Yeah, that's a lot of attack speed, but Mushi's on the prowl. He's hunting towards the top lane. 430, though, isn't Viz.
Yeah.
He'll be okay. I think for DK, the big thing now is just get a gem, because Mirana Moonlight Shadows can really hurt you, and they don't really need to farm too much more. They can, but if they want to just start forcing some big fights, I think they can continue to do so.
Their supports are good to go. They've got the double 4-stars, which is nice against the Night Stalker and just anyone who gets arrowed trying to save him. Mushi, maybe they want to try farm up that BKB, but that's still a long way off, so I think they just try to take the fights. 1 minute left on the Aegis, so it won't be the easiest thing to actually force a fight during this time.
This is not a good time to fight if you're IG. Burning's got a double damage rune.
Oh, yeah.
They're descending on this middle lane. He spots the Chen. 3, 4 right clicks, even through the mech. Down she goes, and Burning, he could skeletal walk forward, but he'll play it safe. The Aegis is going to wear off soon, so DK, they may wait for the next
spotted
rush.
that How here in the jungle. He was gunning for him. Ice Ghost walk in. He wants to get the Hex off.
Ooh, the plays. Saw him coming with the Observer, and immediately the paints come out. They knew that there was some vision there. Just great de-warding from DK.
Yeah, they've got the gem now, and Mirana getting out of that one, but I just love like Ice using like Ghost Walk to initiate. That's something like no other Invoker player I've ever seen has done. Like this guy just uses every spell in every possible way on a hero like Invoker.
Yeah, that's true. It's very rare to see Ghost Walk used as an initiation.
Because he knew Burning couldn't kill alone because you just manta off the Orca. He's like, okay, I have to get there in time to get a Hex off, and if he sees me coming, he can leap before the Hex maybe. So he's like, okay, Ghost Walk in.
Yeah, he's done it before, so it's definitely not the first time. Now DK, they'll group up bottom lane, and with 3k gold up on Burning, with another 1.8k on Invoker, the items are just going to keep on piling out for this team. DK, multiple 4-stabs on their supports, and everybody just feeling like a high-impact hero at this stage of the game. IG, in a defensive posture, is a lineup that wants to be on the aggressive, out of their comfort zone, not a great tower defense lineup, not a particularly adept teamfight lineup. they have to outplay DK by several orders of magnitude. It's just, otherwise there's no way they take this game.
Yeah, Klinks will have that Daedalus up in no time at all. Maybe even an MKB if he wants to. He's going to bring down this tier 2 tower. No contestant from IG, and IG just like, okay, we'll farm other lanes, but they're not really counter-pushing. Mirana not really that good of a pushing hero, and neither is Night Stalker or Timbersaw. Their lineup specialized in the early to mid-game team fights, just being very aggressive early, and now that they've fallen behind, they have no comeback mechanism.
And I think it really goes back to the way the lanes develop. Like, putting Slardar mid against Night Stalker, especially in Mushi's hands, he played that matchup beautifully. He was out-farming 430 significantly on the first few waves. Those early smoke ganks from IG were also not as effective as they could have been, and that really set the tempo for this game. Had 430 gotten a first blood, gotten a few early kills, maybe he takes over this game, shuts down Burning sooner, shuts down Ice Ice Ice, is able to be more effective with his pressure. But because those ganks failed, and because Mushi beat Night Stalker 1v1 mid convincingly, then you get to the mid game, and the first time Night Stalker wants to go ganking, he's amplified. Like, they see him wherever he goes. So I just think the way DK laned it at the laning stage was really allowed them to take over this game.
And now Mushi has that BKB. This is where IG just don't have the answers. They've got the team fight of a Chen with Mech, Vlad's, and Hand of God, but what are you actually healing? Like, who are you keeping alive that's actually doing damage here? Your Mirana's going back for a Diffusal Blade. Your Night Stalker's going for an Armlet, but these items still not there. And even when they're up, they don't match up to Klinks with 5k gold, some big item like a Daedalus. There's just no comparison.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the Diffusal Blade does for you here, to be honest.
I
Klinks
guess
is a BKB.
You can get rid of the amplify here and there, like if you ever really need to.
I just think they need huge damage right now. Like, getting a Diffusal Blade is it's like a defensive utility item at this stage of the game on your one position Mirana. And to me, they need like an MKB on Hal, like a big damage item, and hope for a good fight. But they will smoke up, gods. They're about to breach high ground here. They pop the Night Stalker ult. They'll go in. BKB from 430. He does silence Ice Ice Ice, but he just quickly force staffs away. Mushi comes in. He does, however, get purged. He's not really able to get into this fight. Crystal Maiden dropping a decent ult from cover of trees, at least distracting IG while Burning does the real damage. Is it enough, though? He's been dusted. He gets pushed back into the chakram. That early silence really shutting down the team, but now they know they can go back in. They're going to try to do so with Ice 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 back into the fight. Tornado comes out, gets hit by another arrow. Hal's sniping everyone, but Burning, he also bought back for this. Can he get in and make something happen? YYF's on the run. There's a cold snap available. They catch him mid-Timber Chain. Great patience here from Ice Ice Ice, and now the route's on. Blink crushes him mid-Timber Chain away. Arrow being dodged. Mushi going deep here. There's no Manta, there's no Leap, there's a Lift, and there's an Amp, and now a Hex, a right click or two, and down she goes. They lose 4. It only cost them a Klinks buyback.
Yeah, oh dear, that was bad. They lost the Crystal Maiden as well, but that's a very small loss for DK at this point. Lamb, very expendable, and now they're just going to straight push the high ground here, it looks like. They're positioned at this tier 3 tower at top. They say, hey, look, there's no tier 2s left. We may not have Aegis anymore, but we can still pressure this. Nope, they're TPing back. They decide it's not time. Roshan... Oh, Roshan's already back up. Okay. They scouted out Roshan with the CM and say, oh, Roshan's respawned really fast, in fact. And
this is going to be dead before IG get there, unless they run right now.
Yeah.
If they go in with Amp and Klinks with a Death Pact to creep, that's Rosh in like 15, 20 seconds tops.
Yeah.
Already it's lost almost 20% HP just to Slardar. This is going to melt.
Burning going to show up, and, well, there we go. Roshan going to drop in no time at all. Ice 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 not even there. He's going to show up later on, and he's got BKB up now. Mushi with another Aegis to his name. They need to heal up first. Mushi out of mana. Burning probably wants to pick up his next big item. Speaking of which, what's it going to be? Okay, he used buyback, I guess. I was about to say, where did his gold go? And it looks like Daedalus is the name of the game. He's just about 1k gold away from completing it.
Yeah, the nice thing with Daedalus as well is just that if you ever need to, you can just get the Chrysalis first. And it's a very cost-efficient item for the price. But he's so rich, he just buys Chrysalis and Demon Edge all in one fell swoop. Now just a recipe short. He'll have it for this next push. So before they lose this Aegis, they're going to have Mushi probably not with an AC, but I imagine we'll pick up like a plate mail before that fight. Burning should have the Daedalus, and then your supports. Well, Crystal Maiden, Ogre Club up, maybe not too far off a Halberd, and even Dai has picked up a Blink Dagger. So DK, like one more round of decent-sized items and an Aegis to their name. This should be Rex if they execute properly.
Yeah, I'm surprised IG haven't gone for more Ghost Scepters. Timbersaw should be going for one. Chen, he went for the Vlads, which is nice, but Ghost Scepter is so essential against all this physical damage. DK have very limited and next to no actual burst damage coming out from the nukes. Rubik and CM don't offer a whole lot. Freezing Field, if it lands, is great, but that's very unlikely. And the Invoker's the only real spell damage, and he hasn't gone for the Exalt build. He's just throwing out Ice Walls, Tornado EMPs. This is not a lot of magic damage, so having Ghost Scepters, I feel, would have helped out IG a lot more in these fights.
It would. I still feel they suffer from the issue of just not being able to kill anyone.
Yeah.
You can Ghost Scepter and delay the fight, but can they kill anyone during that time, or are they just delaying the inevitable? Yeah. Where they really help you is if DK dives, but if DK is just sieging slowly, then it's hard to see how IG even gets those kills. They'll throw out an arrow here. Burning almost walks into it. Meanwhile, dies with some cute blinking onto the high ground, then Timber chaining back down, dewarding tactics, next level play. They need a big arrow here. They need Moonlight Shadow's not even going to help them up against the gem. I don't know, guys. This is a tough siege to defend.
Absolutely. Oh, MMY just going to go initiate him. Wants to catch out how he does Manta style. Dodge the Mushi
with the crush, though. Could cost him. Gets Demonic Purge. Now Burning trying to go into this fight. Well, that's a BKB down. They get nothing for that.
Well, and Burning without Aegis, I don't think DK commit to this. I think they've got to wait the full minute, wait for them to BKB on Clinks to come back up, and then go for the next push. They're going to back off, and they're in no rush. They just got the Aegis. They've still got 4 minutes left on it. There's no reason to push when you haven't got your Clinks BKB.
And they may be the team that wants to get Diffusal Blades if Ghost Scepters start coming out, but still IG are not building them, so I think they can continue to rely on this physical damage. And that was just kind of an unlucky initiation. Rubik for Die was just a little bit too far away. Timber chains in, it looked brilliant, lifts the Mirana back, but Mushi just wasn't in position to land a crush this time. So, well, they went for a big dive, didn't work, but they just wisely back off, and they'll go again very soon.
Yeah, very little has been lost from that attempt here, and I don't think IG are farming any kind of items which will turn this game around very quickly. Armored on Night Stalker's not going to have a... It makes him a bit tankier and just deals a bit more damage, but it's not a game-breaking item, and your Mirana with a Diffusal Blade needs more than just a Diffusal Blade to dish damage out.
Yeah, at this point, probably needs 2 items. Like, Diffusal Blade is just, especially on a Mirana, I mean, even with Manta, your ranged illusions do not get the mana burn. It's very minimal damage, to be honest, compared to what you could have for slightly more gold. At this point, he could basically have an MKB for a Diffusal plus 1,600 gold. Even then, I don't think it would be nearly as much as what DK are outputting, but, well, with this item, it really forces them to rely on, like, just outmaneuvering DK, baiting out BKBs, just kind of those mind games and tactical fights as opposed to just brute force engagements.
Well, DK looking to just breach the high ground here. They're not even waiting. They're just going to go straight in. They've got the BKBs. Backdoor protection not there, and Hex being used, but they're just going to focus down the tower, it looks like.
Arrow is going to catch up Burning. Now he gets nutted up, Diffusaled as well. He gets pushed into a Chen creep. Oh my goodness, this lockdown for Burning. Can they actually kill him off? Almost. Oh no, Mushi's gone in. He's trying to dive this one, but Burning's too low to fight. He's saying, guys, get out. I cannot engage now. Mushi may drop the Ice Wall from Ice. Arrow to fly, Mushi. He's got to wait out that arrow. One more right click. That's only your Aegis, but again, IG with a masterful base defense.
That was just so good there. They do almost lose their tower, but they hold that so well, almost killing off the Clinks there. That would have been a huge pickup, but even not killing him, forcing him back, wasting the Aegis, DK are really struggling to breach high ground.
I mean, how many more items do they need? Because they're not maxed by any means, but they're pretty friggin' fat here, guys.
And the next item or two for Clinks, I guess the Butterfly is quite nice, but most, like, the follow-up items aren't all that valuable. Like, it's not going to make him dish a whole lot. Like, he's already hitting as hard as he's going to hit for most of the game. Like,
the main thing he can do is just get tankier, I feel.
Yeah.
You could get an MKB and you could hit somewhat harder, but I think having something like a Heart or even Eye of Scotty, which does work with your Searing Arrows, is probably the better way to go.
Yep. The rest of the DK side can get a little bit tanky. Like, you've got your support who have a number of item slots, and it looks like Lamb has almost got a BKB on his Crystal Maiden, so Freezing Field is something that could come into play, especially considering this Radiant team only have the one BKB on Night Stalker.
So DK are forced to kind of back off and reevaluate. They are up by 20k gold, 20k experience. I think they can just slowly accrue enough items that it's an insurmountable advantage, but well, IG, they're the team with more room to grow here, so I think going later is... IG's chances now of winning might not be great, but they'll improve if this game drags on another 20 minutes.
Yeah, for DK, it's more like luxury items they'll be picking up, which make him a little bit stronger, but not drastically. If IG get another 15 minutes to get items up, like your Night Stalker gets his armlet as well as an Assault Cuirass or something, Hal gets his MKB up, which he's now starting to build. He picks up the Demon Edge, so Hal's going to start dishing out decent damage. If he gets an MKB and then a Butterfly on top of this, suddenly his late game presence matches up to the Clinks.
He is very vulnerable, though. Very squishy. He has the Shadow Demon backing him up, but if they're relying on that, then they do have to reserve the disruption defensively, which I imagine they want to do, but sometimes Shadow Demon just gets caught, isn't there. So it is kind of a Glass Cannon Mirana build, but Mirana's a very hard to lock down hero with Phase Manta and the Moonlight Shadow. So they'll continue to farm and try and take this late. And IG, I think the main thing is just that they've got to be frustrated at this point. Having this kind of a lead 40 minutes in, you should be able to end the game.
Yeah, they'll wait for once again, waiting for Roshan to respawn. So I guess they'll have an Assault Crest next time on Mushi, which will be a nice little pickup to add on top of things. So that does give them a decent-sized boost. Maybe Ice with an Aghanim Scepter. But these fights are ending so fast that Ags on Invoker is a nice little extra just boost to your damage output as far as having more spells to cast. But it's not going to be fight deciding.
I'm actually not sure if they'll have the AC, because Mushi's only got 1,800 gold in the plate mail, so he's still got a ways to go to farm the rest of this up. But they're just going to sit back and wait. I mean, honestly, I don't know if they can do it. IG have good counter push spam. I think the big thing that I didn't like from DK, though, is like just the aggressive positioning in these pushes. Like, we saw Burning all the way up on the high ground. Mushi was even past him at times. Like, if you just park your Clinks back here, you just have maybe the Slardar kind of threatening to go in and giving you some vision. Even Forge Spirits could be used to do that. Like, they didn't have to siege with such an aggressive posture. And I think that's what's allowing IG to get these good initiations and defend more effectively.
Yeah. Still looking at where we stand in this game, DK are very comfortable with their lead. It's a 20k gold as well as experience lead. And even with these couple of fails push, they're still slightly creeping further and further ahead. They'll still have control over the Roshan pit. They're on that dire side. They're still, like,
it's still their game.
Yeah, it's still their game, and like you're looking at a team who's like 90% favorites to win this. It would be a huge upset at this point if they somehow didn't win the game from this point. Not even taking into consideration the last few fights going poorly. From this point, they're still clear favorites. IG, they've had some great holds, but they're going to need many more fantastic holds if they want to win this game.
Well, that's pretty much what they have to resort to now. They can't really leave their base very quickly or effectively. Even if they go for a smoke gank, it's going to be real obvious because DK are just constantly pushing in the lanes. The top lane well past the river, the mid lane at the river, and the bottom lane the only one that's not. But yeah, Roshan respawns. And with burning up to 5.4k gold, curious to see if he takes the Aegis and just buys that next item here, or if they'll give it to Mushi yet again.
IG's timing couldn't have been better. They smoke up. They know Roshan's coming up at some point. They don't know exactly when. This is where these late game scenarios favor the team who's ahead because they know better when Roshan respawns. For the Radiant side, they haven't spotted out Roshan. It looks like they may in just a second, but without the smoke being revealed, they know no one's in the Roshan pit.
There's a Chen creep here. So now they do see it, but with the top lane and middle lane somewhat pushing in, there's really no rush here for DK. They can just wait it out. And IG they don't have a Clockwork or some hero they can just cross the chasm and instantly force a fight. If they want to fight, they have to run in to do so. And that's where DK can just back off, dodge the arrow, and wait it out.
Are they just going to... How long are they actually going to camp here above Roshan is what I'm wondering. They could stay here for a long, long time if they wanted to.
What else can they do?
At least until they get scouted. They throw the Chakram in, so I think they actually revealed their position. Yep, DK saw the Chakram. They know where IG are.
Yeah.
I feel like they may have just wanted to stay hidden there, but...
Well, there's no hiding out. Even at nighttime, DK are just grouping up as 5, and they'll retreat back out. They are close to these next items. Burning up to 5.6k. Another 2.7 up on Ice. Mushi near an AC. IG still hanging out here, gods. They really want to fight. Well, they've shown Mirana mid. This is the most obvious. There are 4 heroes right behind me you will ever see. I think they,
IG realize if they give up another Aegis and Cheese, they've had some amazing holds, but it's not going to. They're not going to continue to get that fortunate with their base holds, especially against Cheese and Aegis.
Burning, he loops around. He did manage to Death Pact to creep, but pretty dangerous for him to be strutting through his own jungle at night. Even with the BKB, they've got ways to just lock him down, at least force him to TP out, like the Demonic Purge in particular. We'll go back into Roche. They've given him Alacrity. We'll go back in. No.
How also just wants to maybe finish off his Daedalus, which is the other thing that IG are somewhat waiting for. They're not going to... When they've got this time, they may commit more to a fight. They're not saving for buyback. I think they realize we're so far behind. If we're using buybacks on our Mirana, our one-position hero, and not getting any late-game items, we're going to lose regardless. And that's where they'll save for buyback maybe on a hero like Timbersaw, but Mirana just needs all the items she can get.
She is such a glass cannon now, How. At this point, 1,400 HP and no magic immunity against DK. One crush or lift and the rest comes out and you just die. So up to How, he's had almost immaculate position this entire game, I feel. And aside from a few early pickoffs, he's got to continue to have it or they just don't even have a shot.
It's actually, IG are the ones being the aggressors right now. They're the ones on the other side of the map. DK are the ones with a very defensive posture, and it's very surprising to see. It's a 20k gold lead for DK, and they're just kind of feeling very stagnant right now. They're still well ahead and the ones in control of this game, but they're not really showing it.
They'd love to have the double Forge Spirits here to just make that Roche attempt a bit easier, but out comes your Wildkin, or Wild Wing Ripper, I should say. Uh-oh, here comes the Complexity backstab from DK. Smoking up, they're heading onto the high ground. They're trying to get a strategic, tactical advantage in terms of positioning over IG, but not able to do so yet.
On the high ground here, though.
Yeah, it's both teams are just like, this reminds me of Counter-Strike when you have like 2 players left and they just camp in the corner and just like, no, I'm going to camp this one out. No, I am. And somebody's got to fight.
There's IG just can't get here in time.
Tornado's going to drop. It's too late. Aegis down. Cheese down. It's all going to DK now. And now the fight breaks out. In comes Ice. Blake's in. Scythe as well. There's a nice defensive disruption, but Burning charging forward. He pops his BKB and he starts to go to work. Faith just melts. It could be 430 next. He tries to man up, kill off 430. He'll succeed. He armlet toggles. Is he really sticking around for this fight? They're outlasting them for now, but Mushi, oh, Burning, he's going to die a second time. There's just no disruption for him. There's no backup in this fight like IG has.
Huge damage. The cheese from Mushi saves his life, but how is just critting people to death? The gem hits the floor. Now Banana can pick it up. He wants Mushi. If they didn't have cheese and Aegis there, IG
they just lost it all. They got to win a fight now, or else it might just be IG's game gods.
YYF in trouble. He's been silenced up. He can't execute it. He made he suicides with the Bloodstone, gives away a gem, but
not done yet. They're going on to How. It's a 2-hero crush. That's what the doctor ordered. In comes Undyne over the top. Now your Meteor, but it's just not enough damage. They really need that clicks in this fight, and it will be Burning coming from the backside. I hear a Sunstrike. Oh. No, didn't catch it, but it looks like he's going for How and just slightly off the mark.
IG still with 2 heroes dead, but that was such a good fight for them. Multiple buybacks forced. Cheese and Aegis get used. If that fight didn't have Cheese and Aegis, IG would have just slaughtered DK.
They should not be winning these fights. Like, Jesus Christ, look at the items on DK, but I think the big thing is Burning used his BKB when he was already at like a third HP. Really should reserve that for after the Aegis pops. And if he had done that, IG do not focus him down that easily.
Well, they're ready for round 2 now here at the bottom tier 3 tower. Can you get glyphed up just to stall and buy some time here? Ice, the Chakram doing some decent damage. Looks like it was stolen by MMY though.
Yeah, he had it in the last fight, continues to spam it now, and really has the mana pool to support it. Oh no, they can't dive on that arrow, but once again, How delivers up to 1,500 gold. After that engagement, he's not too far off of the pieces of his next item.
Yeah.
If you do give How one more item, he's actually going to be hitting like almost as hard as Burning.
Yeah,
at least without amplified damage.
He may just want to go for the BKB at this point, I think, because he's got enough damage out. But the Butterfly is nice and gives you survivability. But it's a CM Frostbite or a Rubik Telekinesis or just like an Invoker Deafening Blast, some kind of a spell that's going to actually cause his death. So I think the BKB is probably the best way to play this.
Yeah, it's definitely the safer play. He does have other heroes who can start the fights and be in the front lines, but it's hard to count on that when there's a Blink Dagger Slardar. No matter how good you think your positioning is, it might not be good enough. Here comes Burning, double damage run up. He's hitting for plus 360. That's before the crits. That's without the Death Pact, as it is going to wear off. Or no, sorry, it was with it, but now it
There's
does
your
wear
Mushi AC, and it did come up a little... It did take a very long time to finish.
Underfarmed.
Yeah, like you mentioned, he was really behind, and DK not having an item like an AC has a great impact on these fights, because that's plus armor, which would negate so much of the Mirana's damage, who was the main DPS dealer in that last fight.
Yeah, he was critting everybody, and they just... IG never had to worry about How getting focused. I think this is where having a Shadow Demon, we used to see it a lot, and it's just a hero that we never see anymore, but as much as you might be, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 gold behind, a timely disruption just wins fights and can even win games. Like, we saw it earlier in that fight, kept your Night Stalker alive, and allowed them to get the initial Aegis pop on Burning. Could continue to be a high impact here in these engagements.
Well, we've got ourselves a game. We've had 2 50, 60-minute games with the 2 WPC teams, and now it's DK and IG, the 2 top dogs in the WPC Ace 2 League, giving us a bit of a show here. 50 minutes in, and very little separating these 2 teams.
Marching down the bottom lane, DK will be looking to break the base. Their arrow is available. No, it was already thrown out. Hit a Forge Spirit, it looks, and the racks just melt. BKBs were used by DK. Now they need to run, and this is where, if you're IG, you want to punish them for using their BKBs to take racks. But an Ice Wall gets dropped.
Ice Wall will stop.
IG unable to dive this one.
Ice Wall, so YYF really wants to. He knows Ice's BKBs on cooldown, but he can just turn and Hex, so...
2 Chakrams crossing.
Do not want to chase too far.
Yeah, and we're getting to a point where Crystal Maiden's going to have a fight. 2,700 gold up on the Crystal Maiden.
Oh my gosh.
Your Rubik, does die have anything
farm.
coming? No, I guess that's it for
Yeah,
him.
the Blink Force, I guess, is... I mean, that's already big.
Good.
Like, compared to Faith on the Shadow Demon, who's got 0 mid-game item. He's got no Force Staff, no Ghost Scepter. He's just got an Arcane Boots and Urn. He did buy back during that last fight, which would have cost him, like, 1,000 gold. So that cost him a big chunk. He's still so valuable. Like you mentioned, the disruption late game, Purge as well, going through BKBs. That's two very crucial spells. He really needs to max out disruption. This is where not having your levels on Shadow Demon really hurts, because that goes from 22 seconds to 16 seconds on the cooldown, which could decide a fight.
It's the difference between getting off once and twice, I would say. Like, that 6 seconds is enough that he probably, even if he gets off a second disruption, the fight's already decided one way or another.
Yeah.
And now there's a Shiva's up on the Invoker. So DK transitioning back into a lot of more defensive items. The Butterfly, the AC, the Shivas. As mentioned, they really have the damage output. It's about withstanding that Mirana right-click and turning the fights around. But Hal's up to 4,500. He'll save for buyback for now, but at the rate he's going... You mentioned the BKB. It's definitely the safe play, but I would not put it past Hal to say, I have Night Stalker in the front lines, I have a Chen to help keep me alive, and I have a Shadow Demon. I'm just going to go for pure maximum glass cannon build.
Yeah, I think a Butterfly is kind of like a nice hybrid where you get great damage output as well as the evasion.
Especially since Bernie went for a Daedalus, did not go MPB.
Yeah, so I definitely think, I mean, and Butterfly essentially is you're still a glass cannon, because one Hex, the evasion doesn't matter, but
that's true. The
attack speed's so nice there. We'll have to see exactly what he looks to do here. I think he will be saving for buyback for some time now. Ferrari, similar story. He's got 2k gold in his Night Stalker. Probably not going to pick anything up. Assault Crest probably the next item of choice for him, but until he can finish the full Assault Crest, he's not going to risk not having buyback.
Well, that means an AC for DK and not an AC for IG, which is a very important difference in these fights. The minus armor for DK does add up. With Forward Spirits, Amplify damage, the AC aura, as well as just the pure right-click punching power of Burning. They can kill anyone quickly if they get the right initiation, but IG just have not given them any openings. They're never off on their own farming. Sure, it's costing them in terms of gold earned a bit, and they are way behind, but 20,000 gold at 52 minutes, gods, this means a lot less than 15,000 gold at the 30-minute mark. It is less and less important as the game goes on. It's a big lead, but it's not as big of a lead as it once was, even though the raw number is larger.
Yeah, they're getting these huge late game item pickups, but it's diminishing returns coming into play. Burning's Butterfly is going to be nice and all, but it's still like his reach already his peak damage output. This just gives him a little bit of extra survivability. I'll have to see if maybe Mirana even goes for an MKB because of it, but the big item I see coming from IG is going to be the Scythe of Vice on YYF. This is something which can deal with these BKB heroes on DK. If IG want to initiate, get a Hex off on someone, they may be able to bring him down. Because DK don't have that Shadow Demon disruption to save that hero's life, really. Yeah, we saw that in the last fight. Burning, once he got caught out of position, just dead. They do have a lot of Force Staffs, and that sometimes can be enough, but generally not anything you can rely on. Yeah. There's your Scythe for the Timbersaw. At the same time, we have to keep our eyes on buyback here. He does not have it. Your Slardar, your Rubik, and your Shadow Demon also short of the buyback. So I would say every hero is still pretty important in this game. Chen may be the least important, but timely sendback can always turn the fight. So truly a 5v5 late game, something that you very rarely see. What a treat it's been. It's only game one of a 2-game set. Your two heavyweight champions so far in WPCAs. They're going at it. They're duking it out. It's DK with a big lead, but unable to secure the win just yet. They'll try for a Blink Crush. There was a silence for Burning, but a quick Manta. Now they focus Burning. Arrows there. Oh, he still gets hit. He gets sniped out. Another Force Staff. Force Staff him to freedom. They say now 430 going in, but Burning still got BKB. The right click's not enough for a kill, at least not on that hero. He has been forced to use a BKB. They do get the Shadow Demon. Ice cleaning up. They take a range rack. And with no buyback on Shadow Demon, it's a big deal for them. They have to buy the MKB on Mirana now. They need to win this fight. They cannot wait for the respawn. Arrow's going to connect again on Mushi. Can he DPS him down in time? Out comes your Chakram. Look at how. Just go to work. Mushi, no Force Step. Oh, it's enough. No, it's not. Too many right clicks. Now Burning. He's going to go down as well. DK horrendously overextending. They've given up 2 of their most important heroes. The arrow to fly How almost with the trifecta. Unable to secure it. They end up getting 3. They force out the buyback. It could have been 4. They did, however, get the range racks, but this is just DK beating their heads against the brick wall. It's so surprising because DK start off the fight so well. They force out so much chasing onto the Clinks there. Force Up is such a great late game item for 2.3k gold or whatever, and you can save a Clinks' life when he gets hexed, 5-second arrowed, and he doesn't even get down to half HP. He's still sitting on 2/3 HP, gets his BKB off, turns around, gets a kill on the Shadow Demon. DK had a 5v4 scenario, but they just overextend horrifically there in the mid lane, like you say, and IG, this Mirana is doing some serious DPS now with an MKB. Sunstrike's going to come out in the Roshan pit. It's about that time, guys. It's going to be Roche number 4. Who's going to get it remains to be seen. IG, though, they're starting to apply some pressure.
force out the glyph. They'll end up taking this tower, and it goes to Hao, who should now be up to about another 3K gold. 2.8K for him. He'll have his buyback crucially for this next fight. One hero who won't, if there is another fight, is Bernie. He bought back, so he'll be looking to complete whatever that next item is. Waiting another 5 minutes is just, well, there's no point, really.
And now IG get the top tier 2 as well. They're not really looking to apply pressure on the DK base right now, but this is all about getting gold, getting the next couple of items up, because they just need all the farm they can get. Like, getting Ferrari and Assault Crest would be huge. Getting your Mirana another item on top of the MKB, be it a Butterfly, be it some kind of survivability like a BKB, is going to add a lot to this team, because DK are basically capped out on most of their heroes.
Bernie was just scouting Roche, the Forge Spirit Stein. It looked like DK were just going to back off and wait a bit to go for it, but they have spotted it now, and it will be an Aegis and Cheese. This Roche dies in like 5 seconds, maybe 6 or 7. Aegis is out, and this is crucial because Bernie did not have buyback, so now gets his hands on the Aegis. Your Cheese will once again go to Mushi. They might be able to brute force this, Gods. Even though they seem to be just flat out losing fights at this point, just 5-man, ram your heroes down the enemy's throat and look to take this second lane of Rax.
They're happy to just keep on throwing bodies at the IG base, and one set of Raxes at 60 minutes in doesn't really make a difference. But if you get that second set, that's where IG will struggle so much to push things out. They're going for a smoke. They're going to try to get a backstab here to start off the fight. Hao is on the front lines, but looks like the rest of the IG squad is going for a flank. At least Ferrari is with the Chen creeps.
And they've got a Night Stalker illusion here, but the Tornado comes out. Do they get in position in time is the question. Fate's still lurking near that Mirana in case they need to bail Hao out. DK, they sense something is arise. They're going to head up onto the high ground. Unfortunately, it's a Wildkin. Now your Mirana ultimate forced out. Not the biggest deal.
It's so hard to engage. Like, even with a Hex, you can't rely on the Hex because of the Force House. We saw it last fight. It just doesn't work.
Actually, Arrow's going to fly. It connects on Bernie. Do they really die for this one?
Not with the Aegis.
Not with Aegis. Yeah. They don't have a gem on DK, which I was going to say could be a big deal, but they do force out some BKBs here. And Invoker's going to back off. Yeah. DK, they take a step towards the brink, but decide they're not ready to take the plunge yet.
Yeah, if I did realize that, they really want to save that Moonlight Shadow for a fight, because no detection. They don't even have sentries.
No, they have
dust.
nothing. Did they lose their gem?
Yeah, they've definitely lost the gem once or twice.
It's coming up in 5 seconds. No, there's a gem in base. They're just not carrying a gem.
They really need that here. I guess the Moonlight Shadow is on cooldown, but
I mean, this is where Crystal Maiden, like, Magic Wand's fine, TP's great, but somebody carry a gem.
If you have 5 heroes invis with no detection at 60 minutes in, that's decides a team fight. Like, DK will just... Well, I guess they've got amplified damage, but that's only ever going to be on 1, maybe 2 heroes.
And that's only good once you see them.
Yeah.
And if they come in with Moonlight Shadow, well, you can't see them coming. They're going to push down this middle lane. Forge Spirit was stolen. They try to Force Staff initiate on Banana. They needed the quick double or triple Force Staff. Very hard to execute, but even if they pick off the Chen, I don't know if it just wins the fight for DK.
And IG, they pick up a Talisman of Evasion on Ferrari, just punishing the fact that DK, not only do they not have detection, they don't have MKBs. They don't have anything to do with this evasion. That's where Hao may just consider going for a Butterfly. Like, a BKB is nice and all, but Butterfly will give you a lot more damage and that extra evasion survivability.
I think the issue is that there's a Heaven's Halberd on Crystal Maiden, so even if you Manta, it's not going to remove that that debuff anymore. You need a BKB to counter the Heaven's Halberd.
That's true.
But yeah, he's got to save for buyback as well. So he just can't buy anything right now. It's the main issue, I guess.
This is
and now they split push. They say, you know what, we can't take them in a 5v5, or even if we can, it's the harder way to do it. Let's spread the map and go for a bit of split push instead.
Yeah, I think that's a nice decision here. This is the one thing they haven't really even tried yet. We've got bottom lane pushing in naturally, mid lane with no tier 3 tower, and Burning can just pressure the tier 3 at top if he wants to on his own. They've still got Aegis for 3 minutes.
Oh, Arrow's going to hit. No, it's Ice. Tanks it for his teammate. Now Mushi jumps in, unloads with that huge 3-hero crush. Ice on the run, though, but 430 taking the right clicks from Burning. He did pop his BKB.
The evasion saves his life.
Oh, he ends up living. I thought he was going to bring him down. YYF's dropping low. YYF will fall. They have popped the Aegis once. Can they do it again? They're on the hunt here for Hao. Do they get a stun? The BKB, he just purchased it. It's going to wear off finally. And now DK, well, there's a buyback on the Timbersaw. No Chen in this fight. 5 on 4. Do they still have a Cheese? Yes, they do. A Mushi. I think DK might have reached critical mass.
So Klink's now with the Cheese on himself. They realize how important he is. Mushi with a huge crush there, but he couldn't finish off the Night Stalker. Night Stalker, he had some evasion luck going his way. Burning missed like 2 or 3 right clicks out of 5 but that he needed, and then Mushi missing the crush. And IG keeping these vital heroes alive.
Here comes once more under the breach from DK. IG looking to defend, but a blink, a lift back in. Great defensive disruption. I think even dodged the stun, and 430 tries to go in, but it's the burning show. He's too strong. He's got the cheese up still. Force staff once again, double force staff will keep him in fighting condition. He's not even gonna pop the cheese. They try to go in, the arrow's gonna connect. Die dropping low, but burning. Cheese and right click. Your way to victory. There goes Hal. Even if Burning falls, he's got a buyback Boots of Travel in. He'll buy back immediately, but Mushi might fall here. Mushi's already dead. Even though there's a double buyback, they're going to lose 3, 4. These buybacks are not going to do much, I feel, because they're all getting picked off one by one. But the Mirana ended up going down. Dead for 100 seconds. And with Mirana dead, that might be just enough to take this game.
Invoker dead for 100 seconds as well, but the Slardar Clinks combo should be able to set some more kills here. It looks like Nightstalker picked up, pops his BKB just to get out of there.
He got scythed again. The Hex is always off cooldown. Now Mushi jumping in, unable to land the stun, but that's going to be 2 lanes of Rax. It should well be 3. Yeah. Without your Mirana, without your 5, 6 slotted carry, there is just no defense in sight. They'll try one last defense, but gods, this could well be the end.
Yeah, I don't think they've got it in them here. They've got no Mirana. Even with an Invoker nowhere near as important as the Mirana. Mirana is 90% of the damage output for IG. For DK, Invoker's just like some lockdown, some crowd control, just being annoying. He's a Hex as well, but he's not damage output, and that's what IG need if they want to try and force DK back.
Yeah, for the time being, just hanging on to their base. They're not ready to give this one up yet. It's been a scrappy showing from them, despite the fact that it looks bleak. It's been impressive. Imagine if they had a slightly better start. They will purge Burning, slowing him down as he tries to finish off this tier 3, but he'll be successful. Then gets Force Staff back, and it really is this triple Force Staff. It's like they have a Shadow Demon. As long as Burning turns the right way, he gets sent back to safety just the same way as the Disruption.
Just abusing these BKBs to help them push. He'll just attack the tower for 4 or 5 seconds while BKB's up, and then as soon as it wears off, he backs off.
Blink in again from Mushi, unloads the Crush, but it's all just stalling. They don't even want to bother going for kills. Kills are a red herring in this game at this point. It's all about the Rax. It's all about the slow, the steady siege. And now they back off.
Both Mirana and Invoker are going to be respawning at the same time here.
Do they wait for Roshan number 5? Because this will be another Aegis and Cheese, and it is coming soon.
There's reason to keep applying pressure, but I think they could just wait for Roshan. Much safer option. IG aren't going anywhere anytime soon. They're not leaving their base. They're not going to be picking up any game-changing items. I guess the one thing they may get is if you wait long enough, which is 3.5 minutes, Mirana will have buyback again, but even a Mirana buyback, I don't know if that's going to be a big enough thing for IG to actually win the next fight.
Yeah, I just want to point out that Hal, despite his team being so far down all game long, is dead even with Burning's net worth.
Yeah.
Burning was ahead at some points by like 5, 6K gold, but we're seeing the Mirana just such good support, basically, I feel, more than anything. Hal's hit some amazing arrows, but he's also just had those heroes to set him up in these fights. This timely slice from his teammates, great defensive disruptions and Hands of God, and it's allowed him to avoid dying as much as he otherwise would and be a huge impact.
This Crystal Maiden has 15k net worth, picks up Boots of Travel, has buyback plus Boots of Travel in a team fight. This is just insane that what 6.79 has created. It's created a monster with all these CM
It's just
picks.
So weird to see a CM who's getting more farm priority than the Rubik.
CM is
as
more
great
farm
as
than the Slardar even.
Yeah, as great as it is, I mean, you'd rather have those levels in farm on the Rubik or even the Slardar, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's cute, though. It's very cute.
Oh, Lamb is just solo pushing out lanes now.
If they go for him, that means they're not going for anyone else.
He's just so expendable as well, and it's not really a hero that matters.
More just hilarious than anything.
Yeah. Sunstrikes go flying out, not going to land to anywhere. And Ice just wants to hang around Roshan. He knows that's the next big thing it looks like for DK, and they just want to be able to scout it out as soon as it respawns.
We mentioned the gem earlier being missing for DK. It is available now. It's been picked up by Dai, and that means with Roche coming up in 1.5 minutes, well, IG are not going to be able to sneak in with a Moonlight Shadow and cheese their way into an Aegis Cheese potential comeback.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they try and contest Roshan. They don't know when it's respawning, and that's really a big problem for IG. If they knew exactly when Roshan's respawning, they push out the lanes around that specific 10-minute mark, then they smoke and just camp to Roshan. If DK aren't going for it, they can try and sneak it themselves, but Roshan could have already respawned for all they know, or it's respawning in 1-2 minutes time, and okay, it's a Dire Courier sitting on top of Roshan right now. I was about to say, this is some cute bit of play here just to scout out the exact minute.
Yes, it's an adorable Drodo, and he's doing good work for his team here today.
That's how you get good value out of your Courier.
That's a Drodo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The unusual Drodo the Druffin.
Drodo the Druffin. think I got one of those at tier 3 and gave it away. Didn't get my value from it.
I have to see what the raiding team look to do to scout out Roshan themselves, but they haven't really got the easiest way to do so. Chen creeps can make their way there, but it's also a very perilous journey across the map right now.
I just feel even if they know it's up, they can't, like, it's just too risky to leave your base. Because you're up against the Clinks with exposed racks top. Getting all 3 lanes pushed out so that he can't just backdoor your racks is a very remote possibility. And considering Roche drops in like 5 to 10 seconds, you have to be on top of it to avoid just having DK take it anyway.
Oh, Roshan respawning now. I think Slada scouted it out.
He just scouted it, so they may not know for a few extra seconds here.
Okay, so he just slightly missed it there, but he'll just kill off the Anxious, then probably scout it out directly after. The good news for IG is, though, they send the Necromons there, and they're going to figure it out themselves.
They do know Roche is up, but that bottom lane pushing towards the base.
Yeah.
Nobody coming to defend. This is a dead giveaway. Something
IG have to
amiss.
take a fight or try and go into Roshan. They can go into Roshan themselves if they want to try and do it fast, but
there's no time to be wishy-washy here.
Tornado scouts them out.
They've got to decide, and they've got to decide quickly. The Sunstrike comes in. They know the Roche is up at this point.
They leave Y at bottom. He's got boots of travel, so he can push out the bottom lane. So this is actually okay for IG. They can just hang around. They're not forced to take a fight or go for Roshan. They can leave 4 heroes here. Timbersaw can TP to Chen creeps.
Smoke.
Not spotted out right away. IG.
Burning's got his buyback now. Slardar's about to get his buyback, and if they need to, they're using buybacks with a tier 2 still up in the bottom lane. So DK can get, unlike the last fight, can get right back into it with those buybacks.
It's only Slardar missing it. IG go in though. They sneak in. They're not the fastest.
It's pretty fast though. How's Critton like a boss
enough.
here? 1,000.
Oh,
he's gonna get it, I think. They're worried about a backstab. In comes the Fort Spirit, but they're gonna kill off this Roshan time. DK too late to the party. In comes Ice frantically. He wants to steal the Aegis, but he's getting purged. He can't get in range. Roshan's not dead yet though. Are they gonna finish it? Who's gonna get the Aegis? Killed by the Dire. Picked up by Mushi. It's Grand Theft Aegis from Team DK, and now Burning just cleaning everyone up. He'll find 430. It's gonna be 3, and with this many extra lives, DK have just punched their ticket to a Game 1 victory.
Wow, that was Deafening Blast. Stopped them from finishing off Roshan. They couldn't attack. They're going to finish off the Timbersaw now, and BKB does not get rid of the disarm from Deafening Blast or something?
Yeah, if it hits you before you BKB, the disarm remains, I believe. But if you already BKB'd, then it blocks the disarm.
That was, because I saw, like, they BKB'd, and then Hao turned around, and he couldn't attack Roshan. I'm like, wait, what?
I was very confused as well.
It was the Deafening Blast. Ice saved him in that Roshan fight, because it looked like they were actually going to kill Roshan fast enough, but the Deafening Blast was just perfectly timed, and then they steal the Aegis. Something Mushi has done time and time again.
What a spectacular start to this series. It's 2 games, gods, and already Game 1 feels like 3 games at once. This was quite a treat. We don't get Dire tied, but we get some Halloween special.
It felt like the full Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3 of a best of 3, but that was just one game of a best of 2, though, but we've got at least one more game coming up.
What a roller coaster. That was a grueling and exhausting game, guys. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll see if IG can bounce back and make this a 1-1 draw.